Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. This week, Mining Weekly and Engineering News Senior Deputy Editor Martin Zhuwakinyu joins me to discuss the investment in Zimbabwe's mining sector. Welcome, Martin.
Thank you so much, Sashni.
Now, starting with platinum, in light of Zimbabwe's new plan to attract mining investment, government is targeting an output of 50 tons a year by 2030. Just unpack that for us.
Okay, let us first look at the current situation. In 2018, Zimbabwe produced 14.62 tons of platinum. Now the government is saying they want to increase the figure to 50,000 by 2030, which is in about a decade's time. If we look at the potential, that is a feasible target because Zimbabwe has the world's second largest platinum endowment after South Africa's on the Great Dyke. As you might know, there are South African companies already operating in the country. In fact, the current 3 producing mines are owned by South African companies. These are the Zimplats mine, the Unki mine, and the Mimosa mine as well. So these are the mines that are responsible for the 14.62 tons, that was produced in 2018. At the moment, after the coup in November 2017, a number of companies have come into Zimbabwe to develop platinum mines. One of them is Karo Resources, which is based in Cyprus. They are developing a mine that is worth 4.2 billion US dollars, and they are targeting first production in 2020. It's going to be developed in phases. The first phase will come on stream in 2020, as I've said, and the second will come on stream a year later in 2021, the third in 2022, and the fourth and final phase will come on stream in 2023. Besides that, the Russians have come in as well. There have been plans, in fact, since 2014, for an SOE in Russia to joint venture with the Zimbabwe government and private investors, and develop a platinum mine, which is valued at something like 4 billion US dollars as well. But there had been points of disagreement between the government of former President Mugabe and the Russians and other investors. But in April, they did sign a deal, and they are going to proceed with that project. So that will help towards achieving the target of 50 tons a year by 2030. Now, in addition to that, we do have 2 new projects which are going to be unveiled any time from now. But the Minister of Mines hasn't been able to divulge any details at this point in time, for whatever reasons. We really don't know. But, this is something that is on the pipeline. Now, if you look at the resources on the Great Dyke, that is not Zimbabwe's only platinum endowment. Outside of the Great Dyke, there are platinum deposits as well. And this is evidenced by the issuance in the 1990s of 16 platinum EPOs, exclusive prospecting orders. So what it means really is that, we've got more platinum apart from the resources that are known on the Great Dyke. Yeah, so in terms of resources, they are there. So which means the target is feasible, the target of 50 tons a year by 2030. However, there are issues that need to be resolved. One of them is that if you look at the production, current production of about 14 tons a year, all this is coming from the operational mines, and all of them are operating at almost 100% capacity. So what it means is that these new mines that have been announced, plus many others, they've got to be developed, in Zimbabwe on the Great Dyke and elsewhere. But the problem is that Zimbabwe doesn't have money, within the country. Zimbabweans themselves don't have money to develop new mines. What it means is that they've got to look to outsiders, to come in with investment and so on and so forth. But the problem is the risk profile of the country is very high. If you look at rankings like from the Fraser Institute, for instance, the ranking is very, very, very low. So the question is, are people still going to be willing, to come and invest in the country, despite, the availability of resources, given the high risk profile in the country? So that could be an issue. And there are other issues as well, which affect the economy in general. There is no foreign currency in the country, to import spares, For instance, the mines, other consumables and capital goods as well. So the money in forex is simply not there, and that could be the issue. And then if you look at the royalty regime for platinum mines, I think it's highly unfavorable because it is based on gross sales as opposed to profit. So basically, what it means is that even those mining mines that are really operating marginally or are even loss making, they are still required to pay, the platinum royalties, and that could be an issue. Yes.
And moving on to gold, which is crucial to Zimbabwe's economic revival, there are significant challenges that the country has to contend with in this sector.
Yes, I think you are quite correct when you say that gold is crucial to Zimbabwe's economy. In 2018, the gold mines produced 35 tons, according to the Gold Producers Association, which is an affiliate of the Chamber of Mines of Zimbabwe. So 35 tons, I mean, is quite huge in the context of the Zimbabwean economy. And also, in terms of employment, 40,000 people are employed in the gold mining sector, and that is something like 25% of the formal, of the formal mining sector employment in Zimbabwe. So that is quite something that is significant. In terms of revenue generation, the gold mines earned $1.35 billion in 2018. So that is quite something that is significant. But at the moment, the gold mines are operating at 72%, of their capacity. So which means there is still, a lot of potential to increase that. And the Zimbabwean government realizes that. So it has set a target of increasing production to 100 tons per year from 35 tons a year by 2023. So that is the target that they've set for themselves. But the issue now is that for them to utilize that idle capacity at the moment, they do need to put in a lot of money. I think the estimates are something like $1 billion between now and 2023, which is in 4 years' time. So that's a lot of money. And they are saying of that money, 60% is going to be invested by 2021. And where does the money come from in the context of, the country having a very high risk profile, and in the context of there not being enough forex, to undertake expansions, to undertake, revitalization of idle capacity, and also to explore for new gold deposits as well. So the money is not there. And the other thing is, if you look at the Zimbabwe mining sector, compared with the South African mining sector, for instance, or even elsewhere in the region, the cost structure is very high. To produce an ounce of gold in Zimbabwe, you need to spend $1,080 not Zimbabwe dollars, and that is quite high in the context of the region. But that is the average. Some mines claim that their costs are as high as $1,350 to produce 1 ounce of gold. So that is quite high. Something that needs to be, to be looked at, by the gold producers themselves. What do they do to bring the cost of production down? So that is a challenge that they are facing at the moment. And there is, of course, the question of royalties as well. So the mines are also complaining, the gold mines, that the royalty structure is quite high. They need to pay anything up to 5% in royalties. Now, just to give you a comparison, in South Africa, the royalties are 3% for an unrefined gold, and 1.5% for refined gold. And in Zimbabwe, it can be as high as 5%. So you can see it is quite high, and the mines are complaining about that.
And lastly, just unpack the investments in the diamond sector for us.
Okay. As you probably know, Zimbabwe became something of a significant diamond producer, in the last years of Robert Mugabe's regime. Probably starting from, I think, after 2010, that's when they became like a significant producer. And all that production takes place in the east of the country, in a place called Marange. And within the Marange area, there is a specific district, it's called Chiazwa. That is where most of the diamond mining takes place at the moment. Now, within the new dispensation, after the departure of Robert Mugabe. As I've said before, the government has been trying to attract mining investment. They've succeeded with the gold mines, with the platinum mines, with other minerals as well, including diamonds. As we speak, recently, Rosa of Russia, which is the largest diamond producer, in the world in terms of volume, they announced an agreement with the Zimbabwe government, to start diamond exploration within the country. And obviously, if that succeeds, we are going to be seeing production by Rosa taking place in Zimbabwe. And besides them, we have got a company that is called Vast Resources. It's listed on AIM in the UK. And they used to have both diamond assets, prospects, and gold assets as well. But in April, they sold all their gold assets within the country. The reason being that they just want to concentrate on diamond production. So that's where we are at the moment as far as diamonds are concerned.
Martin, thank you so much for speaking with us.
You're most welcome.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.